At least you're not showed up.
And we have
So you're
a
like, we're not.
quorum of the Public Works Committee. So we'll make a note of it. All right. Let's see, I wanted to have a brief chair's report to say, many of you know that we had tried to schedule a joint meeting of this committee and Budget and Finance yesterday, but based on the length of time that elapsed between when we knew the stay was in effect and not knowing when it would be lifted, preventing activity related to parking modernization, we had to reschedule it. So we are still working on that. Meanwhile, we've talked many times in this room about getting an infrastructure delivery meeting on the calendar that is not now on the calendar for May 29th penciled in, and we are waiting on a final time. I don't know if we just agreed to 5 p.m. or not. All right, we're going to tentatively schedule that for 5 p.m. on May 29th, so mark your calendars appropriately and please join us for that. Public Works staff, yes, sir.
Real quick, if I'm not mistaken, same day, didn't we reschedule the school board to come back?
Coming back at 4.
Yeah, I believe
Okay,
we will
not
have the
5.
chamber after that.
Perfect.
So,
So it will be similar to last year, just walk and bike strategic plan update, delivery, new procurement process for sidewalks, just kind of where we all are on infrastructure delivery.
What time school?
4. And they've already had another hearing though, just so you know, it's not their single hearing.
So we're 5-ish.
I think we will require that they get gavelled out at 5 p.m. on the dot if they're not done sooner.
That would help.
Would we consider a different location?
We could, if we needed to be in here, that's an option, and that I will work with Mr. Jameson, the clerk, on that. I don't know how big a crowd we will have. If it is just going to be staff and some committee members, then I'm okay with that. So we will look at that. Anything else on those upcoming special committee meetings? All right, if not, we will move on to a staff report. I know Courtney is here.
Yeah, I just have 2 quick things this week. I know that it's a busy time for everyone, but with regard to the meeting
Not
next...
for Councilmember Roden, it's not.
I meant with the budget. With the budget. With regard to the meeting next Wednesday, if there are specific questions that you have that you know you have now, or there's specific data or information that you're looking for, we would love it if you could send that to us in advance of the meeting. So I think probably send it to Mike Jameson, and he will get it to the appropriate people over at Public Works. But it would just be great, you know, if there's information we know you're going to ask for, to not have to say, sorry, we don't have that right now. We'll get it to you at a later time. And then Friday would be, end of day on Friday would be great.
Monday's a holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
And then this week is National Public Works Week. So if you see one of our crews out, or you see a Public Works staff member, wish them
Give them a big thumbs up.
a happy National Public Works Week. But in all seriousness, all of our staff and employees work really hard, and we do want to acknowledge and honor that work this week. And with that concludes my report.
All right, great. That will take us into the agenda. Please let me know if anything needs to come off consent. We've got a package of resolutions that I think, let's see. Well, actually, no, we might need to take some action on this. I think let's pull 1744, I believe, was the one that was missing exhibit. Is that correct? 43. Oh, the first one, yes, sorry. All right, let's pull 43, and then everything else I think can go forward. RS 2019-1744 approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works for a general maintenance agreement for I-440 from I-40 to I-24. RS 2019-1745 approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works.
Chair?
Yes.
If I want to ask financial questions, do we need to pull those, or
Yeah,
can I just do that?
Let's pull it. Okay, that's fine.
Just to
In
discuss.
fact, then let's just go through them because that will take us through 3 of these. All right, let's start with RS 2019-1743, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works for a general maintenance agreement for I-440 traffic operational deployment of Bluetooth Spectra Power over Ethernet, data collection services, and I've already been advised by staff that there is a missing exhibit on this one. I think it would be safe to defer for one meeting to allow that exhibit to be included. Am I correct on that? one meeting deferral doesn't hurt us on this one. All right, I would accept a motion.
So
to that
moved.
effect.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second on a one meeting deferral. On that, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? No. Okay. And next up is RS 2019-1744. This is the one that approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works for a general maintenance agreement for I-440 from I-40 to I-24. Councilmember Allen, I believe you had.
I just, the fiscal note said we don't yet know how much this will cost. I'm just wondering if we even know order of magnitude, what we expect it to be.
Well, it does not cost Metro anything,
Ooh, okay.
but this is a TDOT funded project, the largest project ever led by TDOT. It's roughly $100 million project. The maintenance agreement is standard language for any construction project that they do in Davidson County. Very little of it is actually applicable to this project because this is an access control facility. We don't plan on putting intersections on it or anything like that.
Okay, so this literally is just the current project that we're
Correct.
living and experiencing.
Correct. It says we will participate
Okay.
with them.
And so why is this before us now when the project's already been underway for several months?
All three of these are actually housekeeping items that TDOT just sent us the agreement on that we are
Okay.
kind of arrears on.
And can I ask then, with this agreement, I mean, I think where I'm seeing a bit of a struggle, and Councilor Allen, I don't know if you concur with this, but kind of inbound, outbound sidewalks on West End, where they've done the new kind of turning in. Basically, it's like, sidewalks closed up ahead, but there's literally no place for you to cross the street to get to the other sidewalks. So if you are inbound from the West End High School, Elmington side bus stop, you gotta go backwards. I guess the street, Council 82, if you're facing West High School to the left, is that, not Bowling,
Left.
is that Elmington?
The next one is Orleans. Well, Elmington, yeah.
Elmington.
But you can't cross there.
Well, right, but I guess a person can't cross there, but, if you were on that side and you were gonna go down West End, like now you have to walk back to Bowling to cross, to go down. And the only other thing I would say too is coming off that ramp, all that area, just because now it's construction, even the side of the sidewalk that is usable is like a hot mess of debris and gravel and construction-related trash. I mean, it's a mess. So I know that on-ramp and off-ramp has always been kind of challenging there because it's like it's TDOT and it's trashy and messed up, and who maintains it at those transition points, right, where people perceive it to be public works, but it's actually TDOT. And I just didn't know when we enter into these agreements, I get that this is housekeeping particular to this project, but I would just ask, I mean, are there any sort of special provisions for us to make sure that they're cleaning up all their construction junk and gravel off our public right-of-way and sidewalks and so forth?
Point it out to them.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a special circumstance, but they usually want to know,
Okay.
so we'll know.
Yeah, I just think, given that the other side is closed, it's like incumbent upon them to make sure that the one remaining good side, yeah.
And if it's a sign placement issue or a cleanup debris issue, those kind of things, yeah, that's correct. But they've been very good to work with. We've got a good partnership. You can let us know and we can forward that to them.
I'll go ahead and say too that the relationship we got with TDOT right now is about as good as it's been, and the new commissioner is really easy to work with and real interested in what we think. So we'll try to take advantage.
Glad to hear it.
Until we screw it up, we'll try to take advantage of that.
Glad to hear it. We appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so with that, any other questions? I would accept a motion to approve RS 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. RS 2019-1745 approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works for a general maintenance agreement for various intersection improvements at SR 6 and Church Street. I will accept the motion to approve. Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one?
Same question. I mean, this is not the big TDOT project, so is this something that's just TDOT, or are we actually doing stuff, and is there an expected cost for us?
This is TDOT funded. We accept the improvements made to the signal at that intersection. You may recall this was the intersection. This goes back 3 years since they've done the actual work, and the fatality that occurred there is even older. This was a Hugh Fogg student, you may remember, walking through that intersection. So it goes back that far. Those improvements have been on the ground for a while. It was some signing and some marking and some signal improvements.
Okay.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Against? All right, and that brings us to RS 2019-1751, request that the Metro government enter into cost-sharing agreements with the state of Tennessee whenever possible in order to install traffic signals at intersections in which state routes intersect with metro streets or roads. Councilmember Hall is brought us here. If people don't mind, I would like to give him the floor before we consider.
So, speaking to State Senator Steve Dickerson and State Rep Vincent Dixie, they had done a recent study at the Capitol. We've had so many of those intersections where there have been constant proposals for having traffic signals. I've got maybe 10 state roads that intersect throughout my district, and so for years there's been a debate about at each of these intersections who would incur the cost of adding a traffic signal at those intersections. Well, the state finally came out and says, we give permission to the city to actually handle that. We will help if necessary, but at those intersections, technically the road is ours, but the intersection itself, any of those T's, they're saying now that it is Metro responsibility, and that we can ask them for help, but it is up to us if we want traffic signals at those intersections.
So is that a good or a bad thing, Councilman Hall?
Well, the intersections need the traffic lights. 3 of them are just ridiculous in terms of number of accidents or near accidents over the last 15 years. But it's a good thing if the state's willing to help incur those costs. Typically now what's happening is any developments near those, you've got communities wanting to enter into agreements with developers who are building to say, well, you foot the bill for that. Do a turning lane, do a traffic signal at that point. The developers are turning to the city and saying, can we actually do that? Because a lot of them will. And so this gives us the opportunity to negotiate that with those private developers who are doing things in those areas and with the state to say, if we want to put a traffic signal here at this intersection, is it okay with you? If it is, how much of the cost will you or a developer incur in that process?
Okay, and I appreciate that. I guess the thing I've become somewhat concerned about is I think we all know that our state routes are the most dangerous streets in this city. So that's where all the fatalities are. That's why you probably need the intersection improvements that you need. And so, I mean, I completely appreciate that struggle, but I've felt for a while, and probably Councilman Elrod and Roden would know better than I, but I mean, you know, pedestrian, intersection, safety, I mean, that is like one teeny tiny percent of TDOT's budget. And so, you know, their ability to improve this intersection, or like, you know, it's not ours to do, so we ask TDOT, and they say, well, we don't have the funding for it, and it's like, you know, left hand, right hand, back and forth, nothing ever gets done.
Yep.
And so I appreciate trying to come up with a different framework to make some things happen. I just want to make sure that we are not letting the state abdicate their responsibility to improve these areas. You know, respectfully, the state needs to be paying to do that intersection and make it safe for pedestrians and cyclists and everybody. So I just want to make sure that we're not losing the ability to hold the state accountable, you know. So can you speak to that?
Well, and that's how the conversation actually came about, not wanting it to be one-sided where the bulk of the burden fell on the city. Going to the new rep for our district and then reaching out across the aisle to the other side to existing. Both were in agreement, had a study done recently, which I can get us a copy of, that says we're willing to do this, I think, because that's such a small percentile of their budget that they just don't want to have to incur the whole cost themselves. It puts me in the framework of some of what we're seeing, on other projects in the city when it's public-private partnerships. I'm looking at it playing out that same way. So basically, I've identified specific ones in the district where there are developments going in, so the cost would actually be split 3 ways at these 3 particular intersections between developer, state, and city, with the developer paying the bulk.
And, does Public Works have a take on this, like you think?
Be glad to work with you on it.
And we don't feel that in doing this for this particular thing that precludes, and this is just specific to this need in this area, but this is not putting us kind of in a box in the future where then now TDOT will expect for every other intersection and every other major unsafe corridor that we're gonna have to, and I appreciate very much the partnership and the hard work that was done there, but going forward, I would like us to get to a place where this is a bigger part of TDOT's budget and they're doing more of this, frankly. So I don't want them to point back to this deal and say, well, I thought this was the way Nashville wanted to do it, and now we're only gonna do it this way.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it, but we would be glad to work with you on that. And if we have intersections that need a signal, TDOT's been good to work with. A lot of times it's a classic, and Berkeley came up to me earlier today and told me one of our message boards wasn't staying lit long enough. A lot of times we need stuff brought to our attention. And so if you let us know, we'll be glad to work with you.
I was going to ask a real quick question. So last year, when this issue came up, so Darren Jernigan contacts me and says, Kevin, we don't have a crosswalk at OHB and Andrew Jackson Parkway, which is a major intersection. And so he said, can you contact Public Works? And I don't know who pays for what. I know it was going across Old Hickory Boulevard, but it's the Andrew Jackson, so can you just tell me who, like, when I ask y'all to do that and it's going across OHB, who pays for that?
We just contact the state. It's their road, so we start with them and see if we can get them to pay for it.
Okay, but so we don't really have you said we try to get them to pay for it. Do they pay for it, or if they don't, do you pay for it? Kind of how does this work is what I'm saying.
If we need crosswalk, we'll ask them first if it's on one of their state routes. And, they are sensitive to that. And if they can do it, they usually do. They're like every other big department. They've got a huge backlog. Of course, they deal with the whole state, so they've got a lot to cover. If they, for some reason, don't want to do it, and we all think it's important, then we would try to do it.
Okay.
So it's just case by case.
Sometimes.
Do y'all think in time, I think I'd be interested to know for the future, kind of in an ideal world, how would it work, right?
When there is a documented need and it meets certain thresholds for safety.
Basically, somebody's died there, then they have to do something.
At
They look
least,
at it in a lot
yeah,
more
and-
technical way.
Yeah.
and a number of severe crashes and so forth, then it does trigger federal safety dollars. In that case, they come in and they will pay for all of that. That's kind of the case at this Church Street and Rosa Parks that we just talked about. But it has to meet those thresholds, and then they will pay for it.
And I think too, that's something, colleagues, that we need to kind of have a conversation at the state level. It shouldn't take somebody dying somewhere or multiple car wrecks to say, I think Public Works and any, sentient engineer knows, like, this is an ill-designed intersection that's bad for pedestrians, so we should fix it, right? And that we need to prioritize those and work on them, so.
And that's, I think to that end, this is good for the discussion, because though this is a resolution, right, we are putting some pressure on that local and state interaction. So thank you, Councilmember, for bringing this to us. But I am hearing correctly through that, though, that you want to approve this as...
I would, because the conversations are going to continue. We've actually got a meeting we're trying to get a date with, and I was actually going to reach out to you because State Rep Dixie is going to come and speak to the report that they've done most recently and their willingness to engage. I'd like to take, advantage of some of this new goodwill with TDOT and this lovely relationship. I've even got one section of Clarksville Pike where they're doing a major widening project over the next 27 months. And so
But to their old standards, right? Not to Metro's new nomenclature.
exactly, and so it's trying to continue those conversations. Ashland City Highway is not on the list of those intersections to be done, but it is a free fall. You know, you're literally taking your safety in your own hands with the exit to a subdivision and now a new subdivision being built right coming off of Briley. And so no traffic signal in between people coming from two subdivisions trying to deal with highway traffic. So we just want to kind of piggyback off of, like I said, the goodwill, some of the projects that are taking place. Now, this is the first time I've heard the willingness to actually say, we'll split these costs or we'll take care of something publicly. So I think it's a step in the right direction.
I have a question. When we're talking about cost sharing, is it going to be a case-by-case basis on what percentage the state will pay versus what percentage the city will pay?
To my knowledge, that's probably what we're looking at, and it speaks to the example he just gave that, you know, if we see it needs to be done, but they won't, we incur the cost, but typically they will step in and incur the cost. And so I think case by case is pretty much how it's going to play out throughout the city.
So I'm in agreement with Councilwoman Henderson here, but I think that I just don't want this to result in a situation where the state sees that we are eager to get something done and they are not paying, you know, they're entering in maybe 10% every time because they see that we will put forth the rest of the money. So is there any way that we could maybe change the wording to say that we would split it evenly or split it 3 ways if it's a developer?
I'm sure we could have those conversations, but to his point, it's something that they've already been doing. It's just not been at that scale or level. I think it's all, the conversations have always been individual or case by case, and this is just starting the conversation that since you've been doing this, let's put this out there for everyone to be able to access and say, if you have these multiple intersections, because places like OHB, Clarksville Pike, and others intersect from one end of the city to the other. And so it's just something that has to, you know, have to be worked out. So.
Other discussion? Oh, look, Councilman Bednant.
Hey, how you doing?
This is more of, I guess, an urging resolution saying we're going on record that we want to enter into cost sharing. So this doesn't specifically ties to any particular intersection.
Non-binding resolution.
Any particular, formula, because there are different formulas depending on what the number, what dollars, whether it's federal or state, whether it's a bridge, whether it's a, intersection, that kind of thing. So I think it's basically saying, hey,
Right.
we want y'all to do stuff. Don't let us always pay for it. It's on y'all's road. Y'all should put some of the.
Because right now, it's no way for us to calculate or determine any federal dollars at any level, on an individual project. And so that's one reason I think it's always been case by case.
And then so does Public Works Department, do y'all have any concerns or suggested language additions or changes or anything? You feel like it's a non-binding resolution, and again, we all absolutely appreciate the context and the reason for doing it, but we don't feel like we're putting ourselves into any box here or anything for the future. Okay.
All right, all in favor, or actually, I guess we need to move on. I'll accept the motion and support.
Good luck. 1 second.
So,
I think you'd already mentioned it.
I think I turned the floor over to Councilmember Hall before we
Okay.
did that. So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that takes us through the resolutions. Let us go to bills on second reading, at least these first couple. We've got amendments and we won't be able to do those on consent. Yeah, mostly, it looks like there's not enough of an agenda here to take on consent. Let's just roll through these. BL 2019-1598 amends Chapter 232 to establish a fleet schedule for lower zero-emission vehicles owned by the Metro government. There is a motion and an amendment. I would accept a motion on the amendment.
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Just by way of simple discussion on that front, we work carefully with General Services and NES throughout this process, and basically these amendments are all friendly amendments to these bills. They either add details where details are missing, sometimes make technical corrections, or otherwise make sure that the departments can meet the goals stipulated in the bills, but this is basically, as the caption says. So that's the point of the amendment there. Now I would accept a motion on the bill as amended.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? There was a lot of discussion on this in budget and finance. Yesterday, I feel even better after the amendatory process about the fiscal responsibility of these bills and would appreciate everyone's support. Any questions for me or departments?
And I'll just point out that Ms. Whitmore did get the financial data to
Yes,
us.
so everyone should have even more information. Yeah.
And Chair, this is referred to Public Works Committee.
I'm not
Why
entirely
specifically?
sure why this came to Public Works, because it does not, the only departmental impact I could see there, well, one, for any of these, 1600 in particular, I guess, if there is ever interaction with NES, they typically will appear before this committee.
Okay.
But the fleet one, I'm not entirely sure why.
So that doesn't anticipate like charging stations in the public right away or anything?
Anything there would be under general services purview for
Okay.
fleet mechanics that they're already doing, so, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to move forward. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's great. BL 2019-1600, an ordinance to amend Metro Code of Laws, Chapter 232, to establish a renewable energy standard for the Metro government. There is an amendment on this one, and I would accept a motion on that.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second on the amendment, and I would accept a motion and a second on the bill as amended.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Again, here, the amendments came through feedback from NES, the administration, the multiple stakeholders we involved in this, basically to, again, make this possible to achieve. The amendment here mostly has to do with renewable energy credits, which is kind of an energy standard through which one can gain access to renewable power sources when, for instance, in the TVA generating region, it is not possible to develop them locally on any kind of reasonable schedule. So we do have a single community solar project at Exton in Nashville at this point, but this puts us on a standard where, one, I hope we induce more demand for that with TVA, and two, that we have options to still source our supply sustainably, and I would entertain any questions. All right, hearing no discussion.
Chair, just one thing I just wanted to bring to the committee's attention really quickly that I found interesting that came up in budget and finance, but it's a little more related to kind of planning in the public works space. One of the things that General Services said was particularly challenging in trying to achieve like a platinum or gold level status for Metro, especially as a city kind of consolidated government with a lot of public facilities at the periphery that don't have transit access, that aren't walkable. That, from an environmental perspective, right, so we're talking about materials and, solar and all that kind of stuff, but also has to be mindful that, part of being more environmentally friendly and sustainable is siting our Metro buildings. Like, we've struggled with that, I think, often for schools, right, because where is land cheap to meet the state mandate of X number of acres, so we went out to the perimeter with our big comprehensive high schools, but now nobody can walk or bike to school. So I think just generally it made me kind of mindful of that particular piece of it. And so I think from a planning perspective and for us as well, I think not necessarily anymore, but I think Metro used to just kind of like, well, we're dropping it here and we're making it LEED certified, but we can't necessarily connect it to something, so.
Well, if I could, I'd like to add to that as well, because what often happens is the budget doesn't have those things in it, and then the fix for that falls to the Public Works Committee.
Right.
We don't have money for that.
Right, and we've talked about that from a school standpoint, and really anything that's designed by General Services, like it needs to exceed the tree requirements. It needs to make sure it's walkable, all those kind of things, instead of, and we need to make sure that these buildings aren't islands, that they're kind of isolated and they can only be driven to. So I appreciate that, Councilman Connell. That's kind of an aside, but it just was something that piqued my interest yesterday in budget, so.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
I think what Councilmember Henderson says is extremely true, but it's a hiccup on the charter that has separated the way we produce these buildings, that we build these buildings, and I have seen it. I mean, I tried to change legislation on my first term to change siding and to get all the different departments to work together. It is really unfair or inefficient, and it goes against trying to save the city's money when we are just basically putting on a silo and telling schools, you got to build a school in this location, and any location you want, but this is the budget you have. So we're kind of pushing them to build in the middle of nowhere. And then it's true, Public Works has to come back and build all those sidewalks and all the infrastructure to make it work. So I think doing this may be the way to unify and to force people to get around the table and say, how are we going to make this a LEED certified building? I think it may be a way to get around this restriction of the charter that forces us to work kind of apart from each other instead of coordinated. So, kudos.
Another discussion for another time is to figure out, like, I mean, so schools obviously administers their construction, whatever, they're not gonna have LEED standard. And I found it was very interesting.
But they do. Yeah, they do.
They do? Oh,
Yeah.
good, okay. But then you all, it seems to be kind of a hodgepodge of what buildings you all build and are responsible for. So we did this fire station, but we don't do this one. And we don't do anything for parks, but we did the Southeast Center. And we do this, we don't, like, I would like at some point to understand that nexus and that logic, because, like, I can't follow it, you know, so.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm Laurel from General Services, and so to answer your question, yes. So typically, to build capital projects, it ends up falling in Department of General Services to be responsible for that. And typically, at least in the most recent years, since the first LEED ordinance passed, it's been General Services who then maintains that building because we have the experience in maintaining high-performance buildings. It's not always black and white, but typically we end up maintaining those buildings. So that's why we have
That fire station
a mix,
is the lead
mix
one.
of fire stations and a library and Metro Action Commission, a school and things like that. So it is sort of a hodgepodge, but we only manage 100 buildings, which isn't all of Metro. We don't manage any water services, a big handful of fire. We don't manage most of libraries, at parks. We don't manage any parks, et cetera. So.
We'll have to think about in time the budget implications of as we build new fire halls and we build them to the standard, then that means they're going to be in your area, you know, all those things. So.
And some of that has been great discussion that led to the development of these bills. So I think this, to me, is sort of a starting point for, I think, the coordination level that Councilmember Pettin is talking about. So
I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing this.
I mean, we could save so much money. It is unreal. I mean, people ask us all the time, but I hate to bash the charter because when it was created, it was a good way to move the city forward, but it also created all these handicaps, all these restrictions that don't help us to be cost efficient in producing some of this. Sorry.
Fortunately, I think we're looking at Code of Business Unit operated by General Services to do some of that. Honestly, the one bill that's not before the committee, the green building one, is an operational efficiency bill first and foremost, so I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, thank you all for it. Thank you to our co-sponsors here. We've got 3 of these, 2 of them are in this committee. And any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Oh, sorry, Mark and all right. We are on to BL 2019-16-17, which authorizes the Metro government to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and to relocate one fire hydrant assembly for properties located at 838B and 843B Goff Street. There's only 2,
Okay.
so. Councilmember Johnson, did you have something?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Any
Was it on
discussion?
1,600? I thought we were under the impression we were 1,599.
No, we did that one already.
Okay.
We just completed 16.
1599 wasn't referred to as.
Right.
Yeah, we are on 16-17 at this point.
Okay.
All right, all in favor? Okay, we got to move approval.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, we're down to 7. Okay. Any opposition? Any abstentions? No. All right, BL 2019-16-18 authorizes Millennium Music Row LLC to install, construct, and maintain aerial and underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 70 Music Square West. I would accept a motion.
Approval?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
May I ask a quick question?
Yes.
The indemnifying language in the middle, that seemed to be new to me. Perhaps it's not, but I just wanted to ask about that. I know we had last year, I guess, at the 5th and Broadway construction, right? They got into a big water main, and that became a thing. And that's, I understand it's like it was kind of on Metro to fix it rather than on them. I don't know if that was accurate, but that seemed to be my impression. But
What this is, this is really kind of why we do these ordinances, is to protect the city. So when people are building something in the right-of-way or over the right-of-way, this just simply makes sure that they do indemnify us and that they have all the proper insurance and everything to cover us. And that it's placed in an area or like a sign or a awning that has to be high enough, attached properly.
And so I guess though, in the underground space, I mean, what happens if somebody is using their underground encroachment and then they damage public infrastructure? The onus is on them. They have to repair that, correct?
Right, and there's
Always.
And there's all the, Tennessee One Call and all that stuff that comes into play as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, anything else, Councilmember Henderson?
We
All right.
usually fix it and then make a claim.
All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, we've got Bill 2019-1619 authorizes Nashville Propco LLC to install, construct, and maintain aerial and underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 306 Gay Street, along with a housekeeping amendment, which I would accept a motion on.
Second.
Second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and the bill itself as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good. Bill 2019-1620 abandons existing easement rights for property located at Dr. Walter S. Davis Boulevard, formerly known as Clifton Avenue. I would accept a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? All right. Bill 2019-1621 also abandons alley number 126 right-of-way. There is an amendment.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and the bill as amended.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And Bill 2019-1622 abandons a portion of Manor Avenue right-of-way and has an amendment.
Move the amendment.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And the bill as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That completes the work of the Public Works Committee. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Councilman, do you want to turn the